Welcome. Thank you for dialing in tonight. Thank you for joining us online. I want to personally congratulate you for taking time out of your very busy schedule to get plugged in to listen to something that really can change your life. I know that every single one of you who is joining us tonight would not be joining us if you didn't think to yourself at some time today, maybe you saw our video, maybe somebody called you up and said, hey, you got to get on this webinar and check this out. I don't know what happened today to get you on to this webinar tonight, but I do know that you would not have plugged in unless you have said to yourself, I want success. I want to be more successful than I am, and I've got to figure out why I'm not having the success that I want, or how can I have more of the success that I'm experiencing? How can I take it to the next level? Well, I think that most people have asked themselves at one point or another, why are other people more successful than me? Or how are people having awesome success in their life, and how can I get that success too? That's what this webinar is all about tonight. And you know, success means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. Maybe you want a new challenge. Maybe you're bored at your current job. Maybe you don't see opportunity for growth in your current career. Maybe you're looking for a new opportunity. You're looking for a career change. Maybe you need more friends. Maybe you need people to surround yourself with who are success-minded. You've maybe heard the term before, I want to be around like-minded people. Well, what about being around life-minded people? Did you know that the people that you surround yourself with, on average, are within around $10,000, maybe $20,000 a year in annual income earnings? Maybe you want to change that. Maybe you want some new friends. Maybe you want some better friends. Maybe you want friends, period. You know, maybe you like the idea of developing a passive residual income. Retirement these days is no longer an age. It's a number. It really doesn't matter how old you are. It matters if you have enough money to be financially independent, having stability for your family, for your future. Maybe you're just tired of struggling and living paycheck to paycheck. You're just finally to the point where you're sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know, maybe success for you is that you're looking for more fun in your life. You want a new home. You want an opportunity to travel the world, to meet new people. Maybe you want a fun community of people to travel with. And maybe success really means to you that you have more flexibility. Maybe you're tired of missing your kids' events at school, or maybe you're tired of trading your time for dollars. I don't know what that success is for you, but I do know that being on this webinar tonight will provide you with insight on how to have the success that you want to have, how to make 2015 and 16 and 17 and on into the future the best years of your life. Well, they say that the rich get richer and the poor get poorer. We've heard that before. Why? Why is that? Why do successful people seem to always become successful? We've heard of Donald Trump, who's become bankrupt multiple times, but he comes back and becomes a billionaire every single time. Why is that? Well, success leaves clues. Success is a transferable skill. Success has principles. And I want to personally tell you a little bit about my story. My name is Ariane Morgan, and I have been in the network marketing and life coaching and business coaching arena for the last almost 20 years. And one of the things that I have really enjoyed about being in the industry that I have been in is being able to be surrounded by people who have taught me, not only really instructed me, giving me success principles, but they actually have been incredible examples. Their lives speak to the success that they have. And these people weren't people who had a silver spoon in their mouth, or inherited, their millions. These are people who came from nothing, some of them from homelessness and absolute poverty, and really created a life that we hear about. The reason that people come to the United States, they come to America for those kind of opportunities. Success leaves clues. And if you want to be successful, then you have to do what successful people do. And I knew that I needed to be surrounded by people who could be that example to me. When I started in my career path in this industry, I was 20 years old. I was a full-time college student, taking actually more than full-time credit hours. I was working 2 jobs, 50 hours a week total in addition to going to school. I was newly married, and I had absolutely zero self-confidence. I was extremely shy. I couldn't even call and order a pizza by myself, let alone lead an organization of thousands and thousands of people and be a public speaker in front of tens of thousands of people. How did that happen? Well, it happens the same way for everyone. There are success principles. And tonight, that's what we want to talk about, is what is it going to take for you to have success in your life? Well, experts agree that there are 2 key principles to have success. And actually, experts really agree that there are 3 things. But I'm going to focus on the 2 because the one thing I'm pretty sure that we all already have, I'm pretty sure that every single person on this webinar tonight lives in the United States of America. And America is the land of opportunity. We've heard about, the Rockefellers and the Carnegies and people who really built up this country. People are risking their lives to come to America because America is easy. There's opportunities everywhere to create really the American dream. And I personally believe that we need to have a new American revolution that we take back, that drive and that ability to dream. If I've seen one thing that I just want to encourage all of you on the phone tonight to really develop and to really re-hone. You probably had it when you were a little kid. Remember when you wanted to be an astronaut or you wanted to, grow up and be the President of the United States? When we're little, we think about our dreams and what we want to be. And tonight with my 4 beautiful daughters, I have daughters that range from the age of 12, almost 13, down to 3 years old. And we made vision boards tonight. And they put on there all of their dreams. And children just have that power to dream and to think all the things that they can do. Well, what happens is as we start to create baggage, we start to have the thoughts that, well, I just can't do it, or, we have experiences or people that tell us that we can't. But we live in the best country in the world. We live in the United States of America, and America is easy. Bangladesh is hard. Cambodia is hard. The Middle East is hard, but America is easy. And I hope that you wake up every single day and you thank your lucky stars that you are in a country that provides you an easy way to create wealth and success. So let's talk about the second principle of the 2 key principles that we're going to focus on tonight, which is that all experts agree that you have to have an opportunity. Now, I know what you may be thinking. You may be thinking, oh, no, this is one of those pitches where she's going to try and recruit us to sell something. And right there, I want to stop you because that mindset is exactly what might be holding you back from the life you want to be living instead of the life that you are living. I want you to open up your mind and know that opportunity can mean so many different things. Maybe it's a new promotion at your current job. Maybe it's a chance to receive more education. And I'm not just talking about college. There's other ways that we can be educated. Maybe it's an opportunity to create new friendships, new associates, new relationships, maybe love relationships or business relationships, or maybe both. How about an opportunity to meet someone who could really open a new door for a new level of success in your life? How about an opportunity to increase your mindset, or an opportunity to travel, or an opportunity to develop yourself? The opportunity is the opportunity to actually have what you want in your life. Opportunity does not just mean a job opportunity, but it could mean a new opportunity. And so let's focus on that for just a minute, because there are opportunities everywhere. I just said that we live in the land of opportunity, and we have opportunities all around us. The question is, are you open-minded? See, successful people are open-minded to opportunities. They don't automatically think of the negative. And one of the things that I love coaching people on is how to have a success mindset. And a success mindset means being open-minded. The mind is a powerful thing, but only if it's open. So are you open-minded to new opportunities? Are you open-minded for change? Or do you want something new in your life, but you hold on to exactly what you have for the fears that may come with new opportunities, what people might say, what you might say, what you might do, or maybe you'll fail, maybe you'll be successful, and your fear-based ego controls your life. That's right. You might think of people who are successful that they have egos, but do you know if you're not successful, then you have an ego too, and it's that fear-based ego that is closing off your mind for new opportunities. You know, some other things that might happen is maybe you've tried an opportunity or had an opportunity, and, you know, it was like Eeyore, this cloud just came over your head and it didn't work. Well, successful people don't care if an opportunity doesn't work. They just go out there and they try and find another opportunity and another opportunity and another opportunity. They keep trying until they hit that right opportunity for them. Are you doing that in your life? Have you closed yourself off, or are you open-minded for new opportunities? The second principle that we're going to talk about tonight that experts agree creates success, not just for some people, but for all people, is that they have found that everyone who is successful has a mentor. Albert Einstein said, you can't solve a problem with the same mind that you created it with. You've got to hitch your wagon to a star and don't let go. One of the things that one of my mentors taught me is that you find somebody who's successful and you just put yourself in their back pocket and go along for the ride. You know, we'd never, ever let our children be mediocre. And, you know, we might think to ourselves, personal growth, maybe that ended when I was in high school and I was becoming, you know, the best athlete possible or the best scholar possible, or both. Personal growth doesn't end at a certain age, just like retirement doesn't start at a certain age. This isn't about age. This is about opportunity. This is about growth. We need to be constantly learning and growing. We always need a teacher. Successful people are really just great copycats. You just need to make sure that you're copying the right cat. So do you have a mentor? Who are they? Do you have more than one? Who pushes you to be your best self? No one is self-made, and you're never going to live long enough to learn all the lessons you need to learn all by yourself. In addition, successful people don't make all of the mistakes themselves either. They know that they need to learn from the mistakes of others. Part of the reason we study history is so that we don't have to repeat all the bad stuff. That's the difference between taking a long time to be successful and having that quick success, is that we learn from others. We learn what to do and we learn what not to do because we have a mentor, because we're successful, because we plug in. So who are you surrounding yourself with? Did you know that you become like the people that you surround yourself with most? And remember, again, the people that are in your circle, that are in your association, that you surround yourself with most, are usually within $10,000 a year in income from what you're currently making. Well, what does that tell you? If you want to make more money, then you got to get some new friends or help all those friends that you're surrounded with to increase their income. The strongest human emotion is to belong. Did you know that? The strongest human emotion is to belong. Wouldn't it be great to be surrounded by people who are success-minded, success-focused, and support one another to succeed, life-minded individuals? Wouldn't it be great to belong to a network of people who are positive and encourage one another to live life to the fullest? So I want to have you ask yourself these 3 questions. Do I live in the United States? Do I take full advantage of the land of opportunity, that it's easy to create success, to have wealth in this country? Am I fully open to that? Number 2, am I open for opportunity? Am I willing to try again and again? And number 3, do I have a mentor, a teacher, someone in my life who encourages me? One of my personal rules in life is that if I wouldn't trade places with them, then I don't take advice from them. It's a great way to know whether that person can be a mentor and has the ability to speak into your life or not. All right. You may have heard of this, but you may not. It's called the law of continuous learning, and it states, to earn more, you must learn more. I think at the beginning of the year, we're, can you believe, 1 month into 2015 already, but the number 1 resolution, you might think it's losing weight, that's number 2, but the number 1 New Year's resolution that people make is to make more money. And in order to make more money, then we have to learn more. When did you stop learning? On a daily basis. How are you getting your education? Was it in college? Was it in high school? Just like we have to feed our bodies 2, 3, really, some people might say 5 or 6 small meals a day, we need to feed our minds just as often. How are you feeding your mind? What are you plugging into? The reason that you have gotten where you have gotten today is because of the skills you have learned up to this point in time in your life. Those skills can be anything from personal development to emotional development, leadership development, business skills, financial education, life skills, relationship skills. Everywhere and every aspect that you have in your life right now, you have because of the skills and the knowledge that you've learned up to this point in your life. So that correlates to, in order to have new success or an increase in income, you need to develop new skills and better the skills that you currently have. You've probably heard of Pareto's principle, or 80% of the people, 20% of the population makes 80% of the money. So how do you know if you're in that bottom 80%? Well, the bottom 80% usually does not see an annual income increase. Or if they do, it's maybe even just 1 or 2%. The bottom 80% of our society is usually always worried about money. They never quite have enough. They're never getting ahead. So what about that top 20%? Well, the top 20% see an average increase per year of at least 11%. An 11% income increase every year. What if you could go home and tell your spouse, you know what, every year for the rest of our lives, my income is going to increase by at least 11%. Well, I'll tell you, they'd probably be pretty excited. So how does that happen? How does the top 20%, again, going back to how does rich keep getting richer? Well, because they are constantly increasing their knowledge. They're constantly looking and learning and plugging into mentors and to education that is increasing their skills. They're increasing their knowledge, and that in turn increases their skills. And when you increase your skills and increase your knowledge, you increase your income. The biggest problem today in our society is not an income gap. It's not the fact that 20% of the people make 80% of the money. It's not an income gap. The biggest problem in our society is that we have a skills gap. We have capable individuals. I meet with capable individuals every day who are intelligent, but they just don't have the access to the knowledge and to the successful mentors who will help them go from point A, where they're at in their life right now, to point B. In our history, the best stories, the best changes in our economy, in our country, in the development of our country has come from the fact that people take control, take power, and really have a revolution that they are not going to stay where they're at anymore. We need to educate and empower not only ourselves, but everyone around us in our neighborhoods, our children, our homes, our communities, and then we really can change the world. So our problem is not our income gap. The problem is a skills gap. So that just leads us to know that in order to have that success that we want, we have to increase our skills. And when we increase our skills, then we can go to the top of any field. My father-in-law taught my husband that you could make the most money in any industry if you were the best at what you did. So that lends itself to know that if we want to be the best, then we have to keep learning. We have to keep educating ourselves. We have to be plugged in to keep increasing our skills. Well, we know that if we want to increase our skills at the gym, that we want to become stronger, we want to have better muscles, we want to lose weight. Again, number 2, New Year's resolution, that by this point of the year, how sad is it that most people have already given up already? We're only about 5-6 weeks into the new year, and the gyms are already starting to clear out because people aren't plugged in daily to bettering themselves, bettering their skills. We've already given up and gone back to our old habits because we don't have that knowledge and education and community and all those things that I've been talking about. But we know if we go to the gym and we get a personal trainer, that we're going to see that success. So a gym membership, we know that's what we need to do, get that personal trainer, and we can start to see results physically. The problem, again, in our society is that there isn't a membership, or at least there hasn't been a membership until now, about creating a life skills result, that getting that new home, having that financial freedom, having that supportive community of friends that's bettering yourself and helping to better yourself. Well, like I said, until now, there has not been anything like that. But this call, we want to introduce you to the leading and fastest growing education company and learning company in soon to be the world, Change Life Academy. Change Life Academy is a membership that helps you to do just that, to change your life, not only financially, but in all aspects. Everybody needs is a teacher, a mentor, people that will help you to know how to live and what success skills you may need to increase in your life to have the success that you want, and great lifestyle experiences to expand your mind. You know, John Maxwell, who's one of the world's top leadership trainers, says that the first thing is that you maybe just don't know what you don't know. Having the Change Life Academy, being exposed to education and successful people in a successful community, whether that be online for the comfort of your own home or in person at our live workshops, you will be able to have your mind expanded and truly experience life in a completely different way than you ever thought possible. John goes on to say that once you find out what you know, then you can start to grow. So we start with not knowing what we don't even know, and then we start to find out what we don't know, and then because we start to find out what we don't know, then we can grow. Well, there's a lot of other companies that you might be thinking, well, gosh, I can go to live workshops, or, you know, I can spend, you know, time at seminars. And you're right, you can. But most of these people who are putting on these workshops typically are only going to give you a topic that maybe even just one topic. And these workshops can cost thousands of dollars even for just one day. Well, what I have found over my years in personal development, education, and in network marketing is that most people don't maybe have access to that $10,000 for that one-day seminar. Maybe they don't even have access to the $2,000 to $10,000 a month that you can spend on personal mentoring. How about online courses? Online courses can cost hundreds of dollars, and typically they're just leading you to spend more money at another online course, or even thousands of dollars at those workshops that we just talked about. Well, you may expect for all the things that I already mentioned would come with a Life Academy, a Change Life, Change Your Life membership that you might expect to pay $500 to even $1,500 a month for personal coaching, live workshops, online seminars, in-person clinics, and personal mentoring, along with all of the motivation and inspirational outlets that we are going to have by being a part of the Change Life community. But you're not going to spend $500 to $1,500 a month, not even close. A Change Life Academy membership starts with just a one-time enrollment fee of $249. And after that, it's just $115 a month. Just $115 a month. Now, I have to tell you that my personal mentors who are multimillionaires have spent as much, if not even more, than $250,000 in this kind of education. And I'm not even talking about their college degrees and what that cost them. They had to spend that kind of money because it's been the only outlet that they've had to have the kind of success that they want. And I'm not just talking about financial success, although your level of income is directly correlated to the amount of personal development that you have in your life. So just $115 a month. One of the other things that I want to tell you is that you can really walk into Costco and spend $250 on stuff in the freezer section. You can make 2.5 trips to Walmart and waste $250 on stuff that you don't even need. And did you know that the average American spends $5 a day at Starbucks or other coffee places? So you could cut out just one Starbucks visit 23 days out of the month, and you can have that monthly membership. There's also ways that you can earn your membership for free, and we can't wait to tell you more about that. Our goal with Change Life Academy, our mission, our vision, is to create lasting personal and financial success for every single one of our members. You know, I want to refer you back to being in that top 20% of income earners, which is really where you deserve to be. That happens because you increase your skills, you increase your income, you increase your knowledge, and you increase your income by at least 11%. I bet you if your income increased by 11% this year, it would be way more than that $115. I promise you that. And I don't know anyone who would turn down an income increase of at least 11% a year. I want to also let you know that in addition to everything that I just talked about, you're also going to have access to world-class software, tools, and resources that will help to support you in your growing success in all areas of your life. I want to personally invite you to join today. Not think about it, not sit and talk yourself out of it. We're great as people doing that. We talk ourselves out of awesome things. I want you to go ahead and make that commitment and join today. Talk to the person who invited you to this webinar and get plugged in. Start having that success happen even tomorrow. We've had members who have joined and even just in 1 week have called me up personally and said, my life has already changed. I get up out of bed in the morning and I have a new a new excitement about what I'm doing and how I'm living every single day. You know, you could better your career, and that might not be, you know, maybe you don't want to build an organization with Change Life Academy. Maybe you love the career that you're in. That's great. But what if you could increase that income again by 11%? What if you could develop skills because of your membership with Change Life Academy that would help you in all aspects of your life? We're not asking you to change anything that you love about your life. What we're giving you is an opportunity to take the things that you want to change, take the things that you're desperate to change, take the things in life that you want to make better and to make those better, to really have an opportunity to change your life. Well, what do successful people do? The principles really are always the same. First, you have to decide what you want. Do you want more of the same last 5 years, or do you want something better? Decide what you want. Then you need to write it down. Make that plan and then take action. Take action now, not tomorrow, not next week, not in your next paycheck. Take action now, and then do something every single day to achieve those goals and dreams. We want to welcome you to Change Life Academy. We want to tell you to come on board and be a part of the fastest growing learning and education company in the world. I want to thank you for taking time to join us for this webinar tonight. If you have questions, we would love to answer them for you. Please contact the person again who asked you to join this webinar. And I want to personally say to you, what are you waiting for? Is there any reason that you can't go ahead and get your membership started tonight, get plugged into this amazing community, this incredible education, and start to create the success that you want and you are capable of and you deserve? Thank you for joining us. Join Change Life Academy, and let's change your life and the lives of everyone around you. Have a great night, and God bless.